It integrates with a lot of other services. It lets you brand your emails. It's trusted, so your emails get through as long as you follow the rules. It gives you a bunch of easy-to-understand reports, and it's forever free for lists up to 2,000. So with that basic introduction, let's get started using MailChimp. Many people who use MailChimp manage multiple accounts. They might manage email campaigns for multiple groups or different companies. When you work on email accounts for multiple accounts, the owner will invite you to manage their account by sending the request to your MailChimp login email. This way you can manage their account from your email login. Either way, to use MailChimp, you've got to get started with an account, so let's do that now. The pricing page gives you an overview of the costs and the features of MailChimp, and you can see there are several options. We're going to sign up for a free account to get started. You can always upgrade later. You can use your free account until you have more than 2,000 people in your subscriber list. A subscriber list is a database of the names, email addresses, and other details about the people to whom you send email newsletters. You can choose a work or a personal email address, depending on what types of email you'll be sending from this account. The email you send from this account may feature your email address as the from email address. You can also configure those settings later. For now, just be sure that you have access to the email account so that you can verify your identity. Wisdom Pets is an example veterinary company which we'll be using throughout this course, and I'm going to type in the email address now. I'm going to type in a new username, and MailChimp has some requirements for good passwords, so it's a good idea to click Show so we can see the password as we're typing it. New MailChimp account owners are required to verify their account by clicking the link sent in an email to the address you provided. We're going to open our email account and look for the email from MailChimp. When we open the email, we can activate the account. The MailChimp developers have quite a fun sense of humor, and here we're being asked to confirm our humanity. Essentially, they're just trying to make sure that we're not a spam bot. We'll select the images that match what they're looking for in order to confirm that we are not a machine. They're asking us to look for all the images that are flowers. Next, we're going to fill in some details about ourselves and our organization. Some of this information is what MailChimp uses for its own purposes, but the rest of it is to help comply with CAN-SPAM Act laws, which is an international law against spam emails. Providing your company details is useful because some of these fields will be used in the merge tags for the emails that you send. So doing this now means that you don't have to manually type in all that information every time you send an email. We do have a small staff. Our organization is pretty new. We're not setting this up for a client, but for ourselves. And we do have a list of emails to import, so we're going to select Yes. We'll continue to fill in our company details. So with all of those settings created, we're here at the Getting Started dashboard. If you need to make any changes to your account settings, you can find them in this drop-down up here. Now that we have our account set up, we're going to take a look at how to start using a subscriber list. When you start working in MailChimp, you'll want to define your lists pretty quickly. Nearly everything you do in MailChimp revolves around a list. It's the first selection you make when sending any email. So it's important to think about who you will be sending campaigns to and what you will be sending them. You can also segment and group your lists, and we'll go over that soon too. A very basic subscriber list is simply a list of email addresses, and this is really all you need to send an email campaign. Most people collect a few other details, like names, time zones, birth dates, and other information. It has to be shared by the people who have signed up to receive your emails. Depending on your needs, you may also want to include hidden data about your subscribers, like whether they are a paying customer or not. We'll go into how to gather information in another video. MailChimp is a permissions-based email service, which means that there are no purchased rented, or scraped lists allowed, no matter what. You can import lists that conform to MailChimp guidelines, and these include people who have opted in on your site in the past, people who've purchased your product and gave you their email address, and people who attended an event and shared their email address with you. It's very important to be sure that the list you have will conform to MailChimp guidelines, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. Each list that you have is a separate entity. Subscribers in one list are not synchronized to any other list. This keeps the data in your lists separate and easy to control. When you first start using MailChimp, you'll have no list yet, and you'll need to create one. We'll define a new list by filling in the list details. You want to give your list a name, something that you can recognize. Your subscribers will see this list name, so as you see here, MailChimp's given you a notice to make it something appropriate. Next, we'll type in a default from email. Many companies set up an editor@company.com kind of email address for this purpose, but it can be any email address that you have. It's best, however, if it's recognizable. If a subscriber gets an email from Wisdom Pets, then they're going to recognize this. Next, we're going to fill in the default from name. Now, often this is the editor at your company or the CEO, for example, someone or something that your subscribers will recognize. In this case, it's going to be Dr. Elizabeth Chase, the owner of Wisdom Pets. A short reminder helps your subscribers recognize that they joined the list voluntarily, so that they don't immediately click unsubscribe. This keeps your list from getting locked out by MailChimp. The contact information for this list is pre-populated from your account settings. Think of this as the same information that would go onto your website's Contact Us page or in a press release. It should be a real address. If the pre-populated address isn't what you want to display in your newsletters, that's okay. You can click Edit and change it now. Next, you'll select how often you want to receive notices when new subscribers join. It can be really fun when you see your engagement campaigns working and lots of people are joining, but it can also fill up your email inbox pretty quickly. If you select none of these boxes, you won't be notified. You'll have to log into MailChimp to see if your list is growing. Next, we're going to import a few subscribers into this list. Now that you have defined your Wisdom Pets newsletter list, it's time to add some names and email addresses. To get new subscribers, you have a few options. You can add a new subscriber manually if you have their permission, like if they gave you their email at a trade show, for example, and we'll show you that option in just a minute. You can create a sign-up form and put that form on your website or Facebook page for new subscribers to sign up, and we'll do this in another video. You can import a list of subscribers if they have already opted in to receive emails from you, and this is what we're going to show you now. To import a list of subscribers, you can import from a comma-separated values file, you can copy and paste from Excel, and you can also directly import from a MailChimp integrated application. It's important to understand that MailChimp will only import your list if it believes it's safe. If it can't verify that the list is safe, the import will stop. After you start sending emails, your list could be blocked if a higher than average number of subscribers click the unsubscribe or the spam buttons. If this happens, it could be a big hassle, and it's just not worth trying to use non-conforming email lists. That being said, let's take a look at how to import subscribers into our new list. As you can see, our new subscriber list is completely empty. If you have a person's permission, you can click the Add Subscribers button and add them to your list. I use this button to add myself to every list because I like to be a user tester of all the messages I send from any list. It's a great way to be sure that the messages I'm sending really show up nicely in my inbox, and I can pre-test all the links to make sure that everything's working. So now we're going to practice adding a subscriber. We're going to give the email address, We're going to select the checkbox, "This person gave me permission." When you add a subscriber like this, they will not see a confirmation email that they have been subscribed, so use this cautiously. Now, when we open the list, we'll see that we have one subscriber. Next, we're going to import a list of subscribers. We have a list saved here, and it's opened in Excel. We're going to copy and paste this list. We're going to select to add subscribers and import them. We're going to choose the copy and paste option. And we have a big box here that's asking for our subscriber details, so we'll paste the list. With this checkbox below, MailChimp is letting you know that if your list exceeds the forever free plan limit, you may need to upgrade. Now we'll need to match our email data to columns that we stored in our list. We'll match our first name and click Save. And we'll do the same for each of the other selections. With all of our columns matched up, we can click Next. Now you're all set to import, but MailChimp wants to know why you're doing the import. In our case, these are new subscribers that we've gathered, so we can choose the first option. If we had a more robust subscriber list and suspected that we might be importing people's names and emails that were already on our list, we could choose to auto-update the existing list. Depending on the size of the data file you're importing, the import can take a little bit of time, but this one was pretty small, so it goes really quickly. Notice you'll see all the new people added to your list. While MailChimp subscribers can be added in a few ways, two of which we've just shown you, the best way to get new subscribers is by engaging your audience and asking them to join your email list. We'll talk about ways to entice them to do that in other videos. Next, we're going to set up the integration between MailChimp and your social media accounts. When you're using MailChimp to send newsletters and get customer engagement, you want to get the most bang for each campaign. When you integrate social media with your MailChimp account, you're doing two things: helping your readers quickly share your stuff on their social networking sites like Twitter and Facebook, and automatically displaying your campaigns on your own social media to drive visitors back to your website, to sign up for newsletters, and more. In this lesson, we'll be connecting your social media accounts with your MailChimp account. You'll see how to add social media sharing components to your newsletter in another video. Let's start with integrating your social media sites with your account. To do this, you'll select your account and choose Integrations. Now, MailChimp integrates with a ton of services, but the ones we're interested in right now are the social media services, specifically Facebook and Twitter. We'll start with Twitter. If you have multiple Twitter handles or Facebook logins, now is a good time to sign out of those accounts. Otherwise, you could accidentally connect the wrong account to your MailChimp account. But don't worry, it's easy to disconnect them if you make a mistake. While we're setting up the auto-tweet capability here, you have control at the campaign or newsletter level to select whether to tweet it or not. So don't worry if you don't want to tweet all of your newsletters. This is just to save time for later. Select the list to connect. In this case, it's Wisdom Pets newsletter list, and then click Connect. You will have to authorize MailChimp to use your Twitter account, but notice that MailChimp will have limited control over what it can do with your account. While we're logged into our Twitter account, we can see the Wisdom Pets logo up here at the top, so we know we're in the right place. While we see our success message, it's a great idea to test the connection. MailChimp has found the Wisdom Pet Medicine Twitter account, so this is great. Next, we're going to connect our Facebook account to MailChimp as well, so our campaigns can automatically be posted to our business page. It helps if you're logged into your Facebook account ahead of time. Remember, with Facebook, you have to use a personal account to manage your business account, so be sure to log into the right one, and you'll map your business account to MailChimp. Again, we see our success message, and we can come down here and test our connection. This is great. We got it all hooked up with Wisdom Pets. Now that a couple of social media accounts are linked with your MailChimp account, you can automatically populate your campaigns in social media to boost customer engagement, as well as your website's SEO. Next, we're going to create a second account and start our first campaign. As you've probably guessed, a campaign is just another word for an email newsletter, and MailChimp refers to them as campaigns. As an account owner, you'll want to own and manage your MailChimp account, but often someone else is doing the work of designing and writing the campaigns. Lots of business owners do this when they have a freelancer running their email campaigns, for example. So we're going to invite another user to have access to this account. To do this, we'll start by selecting the account and choosing Settings, Users. We're going to invite the admin assistant for the office to be an editor to our Wisdom Pets MailChimp account. We've typed in her email, and now we're going to choose the level of access Kimberly has to this account. Viewer access is what you give your team members who only care about the reports. This could be your boss, a client if you're a freelancer, or other department heads if you're in part of a larger company. Authors can create campaigns, they can review the results, but they can't send a campaign. This is the access you choose when you want to have someone writing your campaigns, but you want to have final approval. This is the access we're going to give to Kimberly. Now, managers have full access all the way up to administrative details like adding new users or closing the account. There is, of course, only one admin user, so if you work on a team, you'll want to create the admin, then create users for everyone on your team, perhaps even yourself, and then put the admin user away. Next, we'll add a message for Kimberly so she understands what to do when she gets the invitation email. When you click the Send button, you'll see a pending invitation. Don't worry, you can revoke or change access anytime with your admin login. Once Kimberly sees the email message, she can click and create her login to join MailChimp. As you think about how to create and manage your email campaigns, think about the other people in your office that you might want to add as users, and send them an invitation to join. If you have a number of lists and several marketing efforts, it can be much easier to divide up the work if you have help. MailChimp templates are reusable layouts that you design and use to create campaigns, also known as email newsletters. You may have only one or two templates, or you could have dozens, depending on what types of campaigns you are sending. You may change your templates often, or you could create one and use it for years. The difference between a campaign and a template is this. A template is the starting layout for an email campaign that you will send. A campaign is the actual content you send to your list of subscribers. When you send a campaign, MailChimp will ask you what template you want to use. Most people prefer to brand the emails they send and use the templates that they set with colors, logos, styles, and fonts to match their emails with their unique brand. If you have multiple people on staff, perhaps an official marketing department, you may have someone in charge of designing the templates. But even if you're doing it all yourself, a template can be designed once and used many times, so it reduces the level of rework that you have to do for each of your campaigns. Some of the things you may want to collect before working on a template are the logo files, as well as your company's colors, and even your preferred fonts. To get started creating a template, you'll select the Templates button in the top. We have no templates yet, so we're going to click Create a Template to get started. You're presented with some options, including the ability to code your own template, which involves having a lot of HTML on hand, so most of us use the basic templates or the themes templates. Theme templates are pre-designed layouts. You can plug in your images and text and change the colors and fonts, and away you go. You can choose from typical categories using the drop-down at the top. And you may see a template that nearly exactly fits your need. Just know that the theme templates don't allow you a lot of control. It's more what you see is what you get. I nearly always choose the basic templates because I like to have a little bit more control over my layouts. You'll choose your layout based on a grid format, either 1 column, 2 columns, etc. The grid is just the basic layout. You're going to add components, delete components, and create additional rows. The grid you choose is just a starting point. Select any template to preview it. Both the email and the mobile phone preview display will give you an idea of how your campaign will look from your subscriber's perspective. Click the X in the top right to close the preview. When you have chosen a template that you want to use, click the Select button to open that template. You'll notice that the screen splits, with the layout blocks on the right and your template design on the left. At this time, it's very important to remember that you're editing a template. That is, you're making the layout to fit your campaign needs. Later, you'll use this template to create a campaign. You can repeat blocks that are in the standard template by mousing over them and selecting Duplicate the block. For example, we could add a new section to this template with one click. If you want to get rid of a component in a template, simply click on the trash can and remove it. You can also drag new blocks into the template using the content blocks on the right. The Design tab lets you control the design at the template level. Here is where you'll design the overall look and feel for your entire template. The page design and the body design are the ones I use all the time. In the Page tab, you're going to set the background, text colors, etc. I'll set my background for the template to be white. If you're planning a newsletter with a branded header image that will always be the same, you can add that image to the header now. This will save you time when you send your newsletters, and if the header changes later, you can just change it in the template and continue. Select Browse, navigate to your image, and import it. Your image is loaded into the template header. Of course, the header is pretty, but now we want to make it useful too. We're going to link this image so that readers who are familiar with HTML-based emails know that they can click the header image to go right to your website. You can do this with any of the images that you add to your newsletters. You can customize the link to the web address, an email, or other options. In this case, we just want to link to the website. You may want to select Open in a new window so your reader doesn't lose the window that they're in right now, like their email inbox, for example. You'll notice that the template we chose has a bunch of tiny Buy Now buttons down at the bottom. And this is great if your newsletters include retail options. But Wisdom Pets doesn't want a salesy newsletter. They want to engage their pet parents and be the go-to source for pet information. So we're going to delete all of these little buttons now. We're going to be using these individual smaller blocks for our blog articles. So we're going to change the template text to make it easier so that when we want to create a new campaign, we'll know what to do. You'll see how we plan to use these blocks in another video. I also noticed that my footer blocks have a gray background, and I want an all-white background for my emails. So we'll change this in the Design tab. You'll see the social share buttons are here on the bottom, and I want to make sure that each of these URLs is accurate. You can also switch these out to use other social media channels if you like. To see how this campaign will look, I can preview it in an email inbox and on a smartphone screen. Enter Preview mode. You'll notice that the empty blocks don't have any images or text, and that's okay, because we're going to add them when we create the campaign. If we want to add more layout elements to this newsletter, we can, but most of what is here is going to change from newsletter to newsletter, so we're going to save and close this newsletter. We'll type a name for this template, something that we can easily recognize later. It's important to note that if you add design elements at the campaign level later, those layout changes won't be imported back into your template. You'll need to duplicate that effort if you want later campaigns to look the same by making those changes in the template. We've created a single template here in this video, and as I mentioned, you may have lots of different templates depending on the types of emails you're sending to your subscribers. Don't be afraid to create lots of templates, because you'll be using them for a lot of different campaigns. MailChimp campaigns are the emails that you send to your subscribers. A template is the starting layout for an email campaign, and the campaign is the actual content that you send to your list of subscribers. Campaigns are created from the templates you design, and you can create campaigns of all types: email newsletters, holiday messages, sales notices, etc. Some of the things you'll want to collect before working on your campaign is a list of existing collateral. That is, the images, blog posts, bits of copy, coupons, and any other things that you want to include in your campaign. This is where content reuse is highly recommended, because while your team may be writing excellent blog posts designed to drive traffic to your website through organic SEO, you want to be sure that your subscribers are seeing that content, and they may not always visit your website to read the blog. Your subscribers interact with your online content in a variety of ways. If they're connected with you via social media, they may see a post and then click to read it, for example. Putting your online content into a newsletter is a great way to create a newsletter quickly, and also to remind your readers that you have great other stuff that they can read. One important thing to remember when creating an email campaign: keep it short. No one likes to get a big long email. They won't read it anyway. They'll just skim it for the bits that they're interested in. What readers really like to have is short bits of copy so that they can choose what they want to spend their time reading. They also like to get something for their effort. So including a coupon or a notice about an upcoming event is a great idea. To get started, we'll select the Campaigns button. Now, we haven't created a campaign yet, so we'll select the Create Campaign button in the top right. You can send a variety of campaign types, like split testing campaigns, which means sending a slightly different campaign to test whether subscribers like a particular subject line, a from name, or the time of day. The most common type of campaign is a regular campaign, and we'll select that now. Remember when I said that MailChimp revolves around lists? Here's the first selection. We're going to choose our list of subscribers, and we're going to send it to the entire list. When you're creating a campaign, you'll use these buttons along the bottom of the window to move back and forth between the tabs. This is very useful, and I often move between the Setup and Design tab quite a lot. Here we're going to type the name of our campaign. This is how you will recognize it in the campaign list when you want to review the results of your campaign later. This name will not display to your readers, so make it useful to you because you'll want to look back after you send it and see how the campaign did. Next, we're going to type an email subject line. Now, something eye-catching is always a good idea because if you remember, your email is going to appear in a long list of emails in a very busy inbox. It's also a good idea to include some branding in the subject line so that your readers can instantly recognize this campaign and choose to read it now or wait until they have a work break. It's important to recognize that spammy email subject lines will get rejected from many inboxes, depending on the settings, and you don't have control over this. If your email is going into somebody's work inbox, for example, you may never get through to the subscriber if the corporate spam settings are highly controlled. You can see MailChimp's advice on how to write safe and eye-catching headlines, but note that $ and exclamation points are two of the big no-nos. Instead, you can actually get to use emojis. Depending on the inbox, the emoji may or may not display the way you want it. Some people also find them charming and others find them ridiculous, so it's important to consider your audience. If you're curious about whether your audience likes emojis or not, you can try a split A/B testing on your next campaign and then review the open and click rates. We'll show you how to do that soon. The from name is the person from whom the message is being sent, and this should be something that your readers recognize so they don't automatically delete it. In our case, it's automatically populated for us, and this is the name we're going to use. The from email address displays in the from field in the subscriber's email inbox. This also should be a bona fide email address, and if the campaign is sent from a corporate account, it should be a corporate email address. This is the address to which your readers can respond if they want to. Often this is an info@ email address, or you could choose to make it even more personal. This email works, in our case, because it's the master email for the business and our receptionist manages it. Merge tags are items from your list, like the first name, and they're useful for personalizing your email messages. Since we only have a few columns in our list, we don't have a lot of merge tags to choose, but having the first name available is always a good idea. Why first name? Well, have you ever noticed that when you get a truly spammy email from the outside the country, it's addressed in a weird formal language like Dear Sir or Madam? That's why using a first name is a good idea. It's not disrespectful, it's a way to connect with your subscribers, and people like seeing their name. Depending on what kinds of results you want to pay attention to, you'll make some selections here. Items like tracking the opens and clicks are useful for telling you whether your readers are engaging with the content you send them by opening them or clicking in the link in the content. This can help you know what your readers are interested in so you can give them more of it. Plain text clicks are only useful if your readers are not used to reading HTML emails, and very few people have that issue these days. Selecting Google Analytics is a good idea if you want to know whether traffic is coming to your website from your email campaigns. You can and probably should modify the title so that you can recognize it in your Google Analytics dashboard. Select whether you want to automatically tweet the campaign when it goes out. You'll notice the merge tag for the URL is already included, so if someone sees the tweet and finds it interesting, they can click the link and go to your website for more information. MailChimp creates a specific URL for each of your campaigns so that users can read it online if they prefer. If you're using hashtags, you can include a hashtag in your tweet too. But remember the 140 character limit for tweets and keep things short and sweet. You can also auto-post your campaigns to your Facebook page and allow subscribers to comment on the post. Remember that eye-catching headlines are important to get people to engage with your social media posts. You can change the post headlines here and use the email subject line that you've already created by copying and pasting it. There are two more options at the bottom of the screen. One is to convert videos, which doesn't apply to us in this case, and the other is selected by default, and you can't change it. Let's click Next and go on to choose the template. In the last video, we set up our campaign, and now we're going to select the template. Since we saved our branded newsletter template, we're going to choose the Saved Templates option and go and pick that one. The template loads, and you'll notice that we can add design element blocks to change things up for this particular version of the newsletter. So while the template gives us a great starting place, it is just that, a starting place for this particular campaign. Any elements that we want to add to this campaign will not be stored back in our template. This little bit of text at the top is a teaser. It displays in most email boxes right after the subject line, so it's a useful way to draw the reader in to opening the email. We already have an eye-catching subject line, so let's create a little bit more enticement by offering a promotion. You'll notice these three tabs on the right side. We're going to be using the Content and Design tabs in just a minute, but the Comments tab is where you can involve those who are working with you on this email campaign to get their feedback. To do that, we'd have to send a test email, which we'll do later, but when they reply, their comments will appear here. When you click each of the design elements, you can modify the text, image, links, and more in the right-hand pane. And this is where we're going to create a unique message to send to our subscribers. This is a juicy part of your campaign, the reason that you're sending this email, so make it good. Often people will use a primary block like this one to introduce something new, like a new technique or a tip, or maybe an update to what's going on in their company to their readers. The other blocks of your newsletter can be populated with content bits that you want to reuse, like your blog posts, for example. I've created some copy for this newsletter in a Word document, and I'm going to copy and paste it into our MailChimp newsletter. You'll notice that the copy in this block contains a little bit of weirdness, this F name. This is the merge tag, and it refers to the first name column in our list data. This tag will get replaced with the subscriber's first name when we send it. This is a method of personalizing our email campaigns, and details like this make it more enticing to read. Of course, depending on the level of integration your website has with MailChimp and the data that you gather from your subscribers, you can do infinitely more personalization with your email campaigns. Some companies are able to personalize to the level of finding new boots based on your last shoe purchase, for example. Let's save and close this block. Now we're going to add our blog posts to these three little boxes along the bottom. We're going to reuse our blog posts in this newsletter. At the Wisdom Pets website, you'll see we have a number of blog posts that our readers might be interested in reading. Newsletters with lots of fresh and inviting images are always more fun to read, so we'll use the images from each of the blog posts and link it back to the website. To do this, we're going to browse for our new images. Next, we're going to write a short intro to the blog post, something to entice our subscribers to click it. After this, we're going to go to the blog post itself and get the link to the post, and we're going to add it to the image and to this read more text. So now we have this great bit of content here with a great picture, a little intro to the blog post, and links. I'm going to pause and fill out the rest of these blog post boxes now. I've taken the liberty of filling in the other content blocks with the images from our blog posts and an intro to each one. Now, this is a great way to reuse content that you've already spent time creating and get it in front of your subscribers. It's also a really good way to drive clicks back to your website, if that's your goal. You may notice, however, that using the images from our blog posts has left us with a situation that the images are all different sizes. So let's get a little symmetry with our images. You can easily resize your images in MailChimp, and I think we'll make them all the same size. But first, let's take a look and see what sizes we have. Let's take a look at our dog image. This one happens to be 254 by 300. Now let's take a look at our cat. This one's 215 by 300, so we've got some variations here. Going back to our dog image, we're going to crop the dog image and use these width and height buttons over here. We'll select 250 by 250 to get a nice square image and click Apply. Now we'll save this change. Next, we'll resize our cat image. We'll click Apply and we'll save this. And now for our fish. Click Apply and save it again. Now we have a nice level of symmetry in our newsletter. When you think that your campaign is all ready to go, stop. You do not want to send a campaign without testing it, preferably by sending it to yourself. Seeing it as your readers will see it is a critical test and one not to be taken lightly because you will spot mistakes every single time. You'll also want to click every link and make sure it's going where you want it to go. Things happen fast these days, and your team could have made a change on the website, and your links may or may not work, depending on what else is going on around the organization. Take it from me, never send a campaign without sending it to yourself first and testing it. To do this, at the top of the screen, you'll see Preview and Test, and you can select Send Yourself a Test Email. Type in your email address. You can include instructions if you're sending this to another person on your team, but since we're sending it to ourselves, we'll just click Send Test. Next, we'll go to our email inbox and see the newsletter. So we sent ourselves a test email campaign, and now we are in our email inbox, and we want to see how subscribers are going to look at this. We'll notice that we have test at the very beginning, but everything after that is really how your subscribers are going to see it. You can see our emoji didn't come through quite looking like a dog, but you never know. These are emojis. If we want to open this newsletter and take a look at all the links, you may have to click Display Images below in order to get the images to show up. Let's be sure to click the links and see if they work. That one's good. This opens up the live view. This is good. Our blog post appears. So it looks like all of our links are working. Normally I would click every single one of these. When the email is working the way you want it to, you're going to return to the MailChimp dashboard and schedule it. You can send a campaign immediately using the Send button down here at the bottom, but most of us schedule our campaigns so that they can be delivered when we want them to go out. You'll notice that most of these features along here at the bottom are paid features, so we're not going to worry about any of those. Once you've selected your schedule, we can send it in a couple of days and we can choose a time. Let's set it to go at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Click Schedule, and you can go to the Campaigns link to see your scheduled newsletter. Most businesses have a number of campaigns running at any time, and as you start to build out your email marketing efforts, you will too. In this video, we're going to take a look at our campaign results. It's important not to check your campaign results immediately. A campaign can take some time to be delivered, read, and opened. You probably don't read all of your email newsletters immediately either. Since you worked hard to brand and identify your email as something fun to read, you want to give your readers a chance to read it. I usually check my campaigns about 2 days after they're sent, but it's not unusual to have results roll in a week or more later. One of the first things you'll notice are opens and clicks. Opens are just like they sound. The email was opened. And clicks are the number of times a user clicked a link in your campaign. After you have sent a few campaigns, you'll start to see some patterns that tell you how long it takes for people to get to your email, for example. Here we have another branded account that I manage, and we'll be using it to take a look at campaign results. If you're looking at the basic results, you'll see how many readers opened and clicked each campaign, as well as how many subscribers each campaign was sent to. Click the View Report, and you'll see a whole lot more. Let's take a look at one of the more successful campaigns. In the Overview tab, you can see how your email results compare to others in the industry. Scroll down a little bit further, and you can see specifically how many clicks this campaign generated and if someone unsubscribed. Depending on your list size, a few unsubscribes here and there is normal. The 24-hour performance chart shows you how your campaign performed in the first 24 hours after sending. This campaign went out at 9 a.m. and it got most of the clicks and opens in the first few hours. Scroll a little further and you can see which links were clicked. This is very useful depending on your goals for your campaign. You can also click any of these links yourself and remind yourself what page that went to. A little farther down, we can see how individual subscribers interacted with the campaign. In fact, one subscriber opened this campaign 6 times. The social performance section shows us whether people are sharing it on their networks, and in this case, no one did, but a lot of them clicked to see the live version using the MailChimp EAP URL. The last bit of information is geographic, and it tells you where most of your readers are. Our top readers are in the US, but our UK subscribers are not too shabby either. Back at the top, you have additional information available in these other tabs, like the Links tab. Most of what you need, however, is in the Overview tab. As you continue to work with MailChimp, you can compare successful campaigns with those that were not so successful, but be sure to factor in things like holidays, when people may be so inundated with email or traveling that they just get rid of everything they can't process right now. If a campaign performed really well or really badly, it may not be anything you did. There are a lot of factors outside your control. Comparing the results of your campaigns over time is the best way to get a good picture of what your readership likes and doesn't like. And remember, they change too. So what works one year may not work as time goes on, and you'll have to get creative again. That's just the nature of email marketing. Your MailChimp sign-up forms are intimately integrated with your lists. Specifically, each list has its own sign-up form that can be customized to collect the list data that you want to receive. Subscribers share their information on your sign-up form. In most cases, you need the bare minimum, an email address, but a name is always good so you can personalize the email campaigns. Longer forms usually scare people off, but you can always use a combination of a short form to get just their email, and then when you have them really digging your emails, you can ask for more details. If you want to send targeted marketing emails specific to your users, you can ask for more data, like a birthday, for example. In the case of Wisdom Pets, it might be nice to celebrate the pets' birthdays. Where do you put your sign-up forms? You can put your sign-up form wherever you think it'll get the most sign-ups. So you can go all out and put it everywhere, or you can put it at the bottom of your blog posts, or just in a few locations. Let's take a look at a few examples. Here's an example of a blog with the sign-up form at the bottom of each post. This method works great when you regularly post blogs and you know that you have an interested audience that comes to your website to read them. Here's another example of a website that puts the sign-up form with just one field, an email address, right where everyone can find it. These are all great ways to grow your subscriber list, and of course, there are others. To work with the sign-up forms for any particular list, you'll start by selecting the list. We have only one in this case, but you could have many lists sitting here. You'll select the drop-down on the far right for this list and choose the sign-up forms. There are several types of forms you can use. Embedded forms work best when you're creating a sign-up form on your website or in blog posts. Subscriber pop-up forms go on your website and they pop open after a subscriber has been on your site for a little while. Form integrations let you add sign-up links to other services like Twitter and Squarespace, or create other specialized forms. We're going to start with a general form. The sign-up process with MailChimp involves a double opt-in, which means a subscriber will first share their email and then verify that they really want to be added. It's a surefire way to avoid spam and to be sure that your list is legitimate. Under the drop-down list at the top, you'll see a list of forms and emails. Don't be intimidated by this list because we'll go through each of them, and you don't have to use them all. The first form in the list is the sign-up form, and we'll select that. MailChimp creates a unique URL for each sign-up form. You can send this link to your customers directly, or put it in your email signature, for example. Scrolling down a little further, everything in this gray box will display in the form wherever we put it. The initial fields come from the columns in our list, but you can add new data fields and start collecting new information if you like, or we can delete all of these and just use the email address. Let's tell people why they might want to sign up for this newsletter. We'll click to add a message. Each field in the form can be customized. For example, you may want a quick and dirty form with no details or something that has a little bit more nurturing tone. Let's select the email address and we'll change the label. You can also select whether each field is required or not. The only field that is absolutely required in a form by default is the email address, which makes sense. You can hardly send emails to someone without it. Hidden forms are those fields that you want to have default data in, but you don't want the user to see it. If you want to track a particular bit of data, like where this form resides, so that you can see whether it's more useful for gathering emails than in another location, you can create a new hidden field. Help text displays when the subscriber mouses over that field. Depending on your subscriber base, you may not need help text at all. You'll work through all the fields and get them all lined up as you want them filled out. Next, take a look at how your form will look when there are errors in it. Scroll up to the top and select the Sign Up form and choose the one with alerts. This is just a view. You can't make any changes here, but it's good to know how things will look for your subscribers if they make mistakes. With your sign-up form created, you're going to want to take a close look at the email messages that are sent to new subscribers, and we'll do that next. After you have your basic sign-up form created, you have the opportunity to customize the messages that new subscribers see after signing up. We'll go through these emails now. When people sign up to receive a newsletter, it's nice to say thank you. In the Sign Up Form drop-down, take a look at the Sign Up Thank You form. This is the message that displays after a subscriber fills in the form. If you have ever signed up for a newsletter, you're probably familiar with how this works, but know that you can make this process as customized to your brand as you like. You can change the colors and text and other details to make it your own, for example, or you can send users to a special website if you like. Take a look at the opt-in confirmation email. This is the email that will drop into a new subscriber's inbox. It's the second part of that double opt-in process. You can change the text and colors again if you like, and many people do that so that it creates a really branded experience for their users. New subscribers must click the confirmation to complete the sign-up process. Next, we'll take a look at the final welcome email. This is the last email of the subscribe process, and it is sent to the subscriber once they've clicked the confirmation. In this email, you might want to provide a link to a special incentive, like an ebook or a link to a video. This is the reward for sharing their email, and you can include it in every welcome email for this list by adding it here. To do this, we'll click into the body area and edit the content. Now that we have the text, we're going to want to add the free ebook so it can be linked to. We'll choose to link to a file, and because we need to upload this file, we're going to select the Upload button. We're going to choose a PDF, Caring for Your New Puppy, and we'll select to open it in a new window. Now, when the confirmation email is sent, new subscribers will receive the ebook. You can update the ebook or any other free things you give away anytime, but don't forget to check the hyperlink in your confirmation email when you do. You can select the drop-down to see the other forms, including unsubscribe forms. If there's anything you want to change in any of these forms here, you can. Some of the more sales-oriented marketing efforts will include text, begging people not to go, etc. But for our purposes, this is good enough. Honestly, you'll endlessly tweak all of these forms as often as your branding and messaging changes, so you'll be here a lot. The entire sign-up process is comprised of the form and then all of the stuff that the new subscriber sees as a result of sharing their email with you. It's important to carefully craft this process at every step, so that the person who just gave you their email feels welcomed and comfortable with their decision. Remember, your subscribers can unsubscribe at any time, so it's critical to make them feel safe, and a great sign-up process is the start. Once you have your MailChimp sign-up form and response emails defined, you'll want to add the form to your website and test it. We'll show you how to add the form to your blog posts as well, which is a great way to gain new subscribers who like to read your content. You'll notice at the bottom of the Wisdom Pets site that we have a newsletter sign-up button. We're going to link our form to this button. Now, depending on your website setup, you may have to get your developer involved. But our example site is in WordPress and it's pretty easy to use, so we can do this ourselves. To work with the sign-up form for any particular list, you'll start by selecting the list. Select the drop-down form for this list and choose Sign-up Forms. We're going to select the general forms this time. And we're going to use this custom EAP URL and add it to the sign-up button. In our WordPress dashboard, we'll paste the URL into the widget and save it. Now when we view the Wisdom Pets website and click the button, we'll see the sign-up form. You can test this by typing in our email address and subscribing to the list. Let's take a look at how to add the form to our blog posts, which is another way to get your sign-up form in front of people. We'll go back to the MailChimp dashboard. We'll select our list and choose Sign-up Forms. This time we're going to take a look at embedded forms. Let's take a look at the form options we have here. The super slim form is just the email address and that's it. Take a look at the naked form. This one is stripped of all CSS and JavaScript, so this is for those times when the website designer wants just the code and none of the fancy stuff. The advanced form is for those who have a whole lot more technical knowledge than I do, and I've never used them. We're going to take our slim form and add a little enticement to this request. You can set the form width, and that's useful if you know that your form will display in a side panel on a website, for example, if that panel is 200 pixels and you don't want it to exceed the width of that panel. You'll notice that the copy and paste code listed in this box under the preview. This is the markup that we'll put into our blog post. Be sure that you select all of the markup and copy it. You can paste this markup into an email and send it to your web designer to add to the website, or you can paste it directly where you want it. We'll go back to our WordPress dashboard and open a blog post. We're going to add the HTML to the text view of the post. And let's take a look at it. Once your form is set up and added to your website, you'll want to take the time to test it. And you'll probably do this over and over until you get the form just right. Don't worry about adding your email address to the list a bunch of times. You can always go into the list and delete that email as many times as you like. I'm not going to go any further into the testing because it really is just filling in the form, seeing what's displayed, tweaking the form, and then repeating the process until you get it just right. What I will tell you is this: test your form all the time. I usually test my sign-up forms at least once a month because, as I mentioned in another video, things move fast and the content on your website may have changed or your marketing goals may have shifted, and you want the forms on your website to have a cohesive and intentional feel. MailChimp gives you a great deal of information about your lists to give you feedback on how subscribers are engaging with your campaigns. To see this, we need to use an account that has some data to show, so I'm logging into another account I manage, one that's been around for a while. To start, take a look at the Lists tab and click Stats at the end of any list. At the top of the overview, you'll see the average open and click rate. These tell you whether your subscribers are engaging with your campaigns. The list growth chart shows you how your list is growing, how many have subscribed and unsubscribed from any list. Just as a note, if you suddenly see a spike in unsubscribe action, you may want to review the last campaign and see if a particular message caused people to unsubscribe. Sometimes this is guesswork, so don't take it too much to heart. Even farther down, you'll see a chart showing campaign performance. As you move over the different points, you can see the specific details about particular campaigns. At the bottom, you'll see the top email clients. This tells you which email systems and devices your subscribers use to read your email. This can help you to know whether to focus on layout for mobile devices or for computer displays. Even farther down, you can see the top locations, which we saw in another video. All of this information is useful to you when you have a few campaigns in your sent bucket. I recommend taking a look at the statistics about once a month or so, depending on how many campaigns you send. Watching your statistics can be a lot of fun when you start to see engagement with your followers. Up until now, we've been using MailChimp as a software service on a computer, but MailChimp also works on the go with apps. Using the apps is a great way to keep an eye on what's happening while on the road or away from your computer, because you can see everything on your dashboard, including campaigns, sent and pending, plus lists and reports. You can also use your phone to gather new emails. To install this app on your phone, simply go to the App Store and install it. Once it's installed, you'll log in using your username and password. Now we're going to switch over to the iPad and show you how the app works on that device. It's very similar to the phone, and you can use either device. We're going to log in with our username and password. In our Wisdom Pets example, the veterinary office may hold events or attend local fairs and meet new customers. The MailChimp app lets you collect addresses in person and store them locally, and then sync them when you're online again. This makes it easy for people to sign up to your newsletter list, whether they're at your office or at an event or in a coffee shop. To gather emails on the fly, you'll open the list and click the subscriber button in the top right. You'll notice that the form that loads is the form we created in MailChimp. Your new customers can type in those details, and you've essentially grown your list by one person. The apps on your phone or tablet give you access to everything in MailChimp. As you can see, we can see campaigns and our latest campaign displays. You can also look at reports. Not every MailChimp user will find the apps useful, but if you're sending campaigns and want to see the results when you're traveling or want to show clients how their newsletters are performing, using the app is a great way to collaborate on the go. Any MailChimp list can be segmented to target specific customers. A segment is a portion of your list that includes only subscribers that match your specific target criteria. You can define multiple segments in your list depending on the messages you are sending. Some examples of segments that may be useful using our Wisdom Pets office are subscribers with cats versus dogs, or subscribers with older pets versus younger ones, subscribers with non-traditional pets like snakes, birds, rabbits, and salamanders. Each of these subsets of your list are unique, and they have different needs. Targeting a specific segment of your subscribers means delivering highly specific content to a particular type of subscriber. It allows you to speak more directly to them about something pertinent rather than sending a general message. Segments let you focus on a set of subscribers and send emails that they're more likely to engage with. Let's take a look at how to create a list segment. For this video, we've updated the Wisdom Pets list to include the type of pet each subscriber has. We're going to segment our list and find all the pet parents who have pets other than cats and dogs. To do this, we'll open our list. Click Segments, and since we don't have any segments yet, we'll select New. Now, you'll need to do a little logic work here, but it's really not too hard. We want to select the pet column of our list and choose is not and type cat in the field. We'll create another condition to weed out the dog parents using the same criteria. Now, we're looking for the subscribers that match our criteria. Specifically, their pets are not cats or dogs. So we're going to select all of the following. MailChimp gives you a handy preview so that you can see that the data you are filtering is the list that you want. If the segment looks like what you want, then you can click Save so you can use it later. Let's take a look at how we can put this segment to use when we send a campaign. We'll return to the Campaigns tab, and we're going to replicate our first campaign. Remember that MailChimp operates around lists, so here's where you're going to select your segment. If you have a bunch of segments, you'll see them list here, and you can select the segment that you want to send this particular message to, or you can send it to your entire list. While this example might be a little simple, you can see the power that segmenting your list gives you. With segments, you can send email campaigns that go to your entire list and others that go just to your segments. Groups let you categorize your subscribers by things like their interests or preferences. Within MailChimp, you can set up as many lists as you need. But if you have multiple lists, there's a good chance that you'll have duplicate subscribers in those lists. Groups are a way to categorize subscribers across lists. Group members are identified by the selections that the subscriber makes when they sign up in your sign-up form. While a segment is a subset of the data in an existing list, a group is a little different. A group is a set of subscribers that are identified by a category across multiple lists or in a single list. At Wisdom Pets, for example, some of our pet parents like to buy their pet food from us. Others choose to buy their pet food at local stores or online. If we have multiple lists and want to identify all of the subscribers who are interested in receiving coupons to buy pet food from us, then we can send them a specific email campaign with timely discounts. If you are managing different brands or companies, you'll need multiple lists. But unless you're a marketing agency and you need multiple lists for individual clients, it's best to keep just a few lists and use segments and groups to control what you are sending and to whom. Group settings are established within your list. To add the group selections to your list, we'll update the sign-up form. We'll select the general forms. On the Build It tab, in the Add Field pane, you'll select the type of group you want to create using the radio buttons or checkboxes. With radio buttons, the subscriber can select only one option. With checkboxes, a subscriber can select multiple options. We're going to give this field a label. And next, we'll set up our options. You can make these options visible or invisible on the form. If you select visible, the user will see these options in the form when they sign up. If you select hidden, you can pre-fill in these options. Visible is the only option that makes sense for these selections. But if you had a form that displayed in a particular place, like on a social media campaign, for example, you might want to include a hidden field that identified the new subscriber as signing up for a particular promotion. We'll save this field, and notice that it appears at the bottom. Group fields always appear at the bottom of your sign-up form because they're treated differently than other list fields. When a new subscriber fills in this form, they are identifying what types of information they want to receive from you, and therefore, what group they identify with. A group is just one more way to work with your list data. Ideally, you always want the messages you send to your subscribers to be relevant and timely. By segmenting and grouping your subscribers, you can send them targeted messages and improve their engagement with you. Now that you have a list or a bunch of lists, You may find instances where you want to import or export your lists. If, for example, you used a paper system to gather emails at an event or conference, you'll want to import those names. You can put them into a spreadsheet or a comma-separated text file and import them. We showed you how to import in another video, so we're going to focus on exporting in this video. Now, why would you want to export your lists? You might want a backup of your list for some reason. MailChimp has never lost a list in all the years I've used them, so I don't mean this to say that your list isn't safe in MailChimp, but you might have some other reasons for wanting a backup, and I'm sure you'll know those when you encounter them. You may want to export the list and use that to update your contact information in your Office system, for example. You might want to export the list in order to do some form of data transformation or make some change to the data and then re-import it. At that point, I definitely recommend keeping a clean copy of your list, just in case. Not every type of user can do an export, only managers and admins, so you'll need to log in with that access level. Exporting your lists is very easy, and we'll take a look at how that works now. Back at our Wisdom Pets list dashboard, we're going to select the drop-down for our list and choose Exports. MailChimp saves your exports for you, but we don't have any previous exports, so we'll select the Manage Subscribers, View All to see a complete list. You'll notice the Export List button at the top. If you click it, MailChimp will export the list as a CSV, or comma-separated value file. Elizabeth, the manager of this account, will receive an email when her list is exported, and she can download it to her system. Once you have the export, you can open it in Excel or Google Sheets to review it or edit it. Importing and exporting your lists is not something you'll do all the time, unless you want to keep a safe copy of your list, for example, or use the data in another system. You can also do modifications to the data in your list. Still, it's a good idea to know how to import and export when you need it. In this video, we're going to have a little fun with some creative ways to grow your email marketing lists. Now that you have an email marketing list and your form is on your website, let's take a look at creative ways to grow that list. After all, you want your lists to gain more followers so that you can interact with them, meet their needs, and start seeing the fruits of all this work you're doing. Before we get started, let's discuss why you might want to grow your subscriber list. If you're like most businesses, you want to interact with your subscribers and find out what kinds of things that they want so that ultimately they'll open their wallets and do business with you. Depending on your business, you may decide to implement some of the traditional methods for growing your subscriber list, including asking customers for their email at checkout, or offering a freebie for opt-ins, putting out a fishbowl and manually entering their information later, or asking for sign-ups. Whatever you do, be sure you're 100% transparent about the fact that you'll be adding their email to your list. Otherwise, you could wind up in trouble with MailChimp. It's important to think carefully about your business and marketing goals, and even more specifically, what you want to do with those new subscribers once you have them. Depending on what you want to do with your new subscribers, your method of gaining them is going to be different. Your enticement for signing up will be different, and the information that you gather in the forms could be different too. Either way, if you want more subscribers, you got to give them a reason to subscribe. Using our Wisdom Pets example, the vet's office can look at their existing database of customers and work that list. They can send an email to their current customers and ask them to sign up, or ask them at their next visit to update their contact information. They can also entice existing customers with a referral bonus and invite new people to their business. Link bait is a form of hook that gives customers a good reason to share their email with you. You should always design your link bait around your business and your marketing goals. In our Wisdom Pets example, The link bait might be a coupon for their next visit or for products that you sell in the office. Free information to help them care for a new pet, email notices for vaccination reminders. These are all great ways to hook existing customers and new customers to grow your list. To find new customers, you may have to go where they are. In our Wisdom Pets example, new clients are those who are adopting pets. You might give local shelters and adoption groups a business card or flyer and offer a discount for first-time visits. The hook should always be directly related to your business so that you know you're getting high-quality subscribers that are more likely to be interested in what you have to offer. I've put together 28 ways to grow your lists. It's included free in the exercise files as a Word document, and I encourage you to take a look and experiment. There are also lots of ideas on the internet. I encourage you to explore those with a Google search as well. Some experts estimate that the typical email list will shrink by an average of 30% every year. This is called the churn rate, and it's composed of those subscribers who unsubscribe for some reason or change email addresses, and so they automatically get scrubbed from your list. Growing your subscriber list, therefore, has to be a continuous effort. As your business changes and develops, you'll find new ways to grow your list. Have a little fun with it. Once you have a subscriber list that's developed and growing, it's time to look at ways to engage with your followers beyond the list. To do that, however, you've got to take a good look at your subscriber data and figure out who your top subscribers are and how you might engage with them outside of MailChimp. In this case, we're interested in how our subscribers are interacting with the messages we're sending. Let's take a look at our list. Notice that next to each subscriber is a member rating identified by stars. This is a quick visual measurement of the engagement level of each subscriber, taking into account things like their open rates, their click activity, and other variables. We can sort this list data by the columns to find our top subscribers. In this list, we don't yet have any 5-star subscribers, but that's because we've only sent one campaign. Let's switch to an account where we have more information to look at. We've sorted this established list by the member rating. There are a lot of 5-star subscribers in this list, so let's check out how these folks are interacting with our campaigns. Click any subscriber name to take a look at their activity. The activity page tells us how many campaigns have been sent to this subscriber. It also tells us their open rate and how often they click links in the email. If they share messages on your social networks, you might see those in here as well, but we don't have that in this example. For your most engaged subscribers, this tells you that you might want to get in touch with them through social media, or read their blog, or interact with them in other ways. Using our Wisdom Pets example, if Dr. Chase noticed a particular shelter was in her list, and they always shared or clicked the email, she might want to get in touch with them and find ways to cross-promote their businesses through social media, events, and other things. She might even invite them to write a guest blog post and share that on her website, or interview them for a blog post. For other information about an individual subscriber, click these tabs along the top. Notes is the only other free option. The others are all for paid accounts. Engaging with your top subscribers is a great way to get involved with them and find ways that you can work together. Knowing how they interact with your newsletters can help you gauge their level of interest, what topics they found most valuable, and know a little bit about them. In a non-creepy way, of course. After you have sent a few emails, you'll probably want to do some analysis on how you're doing. We'll take a look at the common problems that can cause poor click and open rates, but first, a word of caution. You can't read your subscribers' minds, and you can't predict exactly why they might be skipping past your emails. There are any number of reasons why your email campaigns are performing the way they are. In the case of our Wisdom Pets example, a subscriber may have recently lost their pet and simply cannot bear to read your emails, so they delete them before they're opened in the inbox. One can hardly blame them. The following are some of the more common problems that cause poor click and open rates. Boring subject lines is a big one. It happens. Good subject lines are hard to write, and you have to get really creative in order to catch the eyes of very busy people with very full inboxes. In my experience, a good subject line has two components. It looks worth reading, and it gives a hint at what's inside. Now, I realize it gives you a whole lot of leeway, and all I can tell you is to try and hit these two marks and keep experimenting to discover what works. Another common problem, and this one can be harder to figure out, is unmet needs. When someone signs up for your newsletter, they may have a particular idea about what they're going to get. If your newsletter doesn't meet that need, they may ignore it or even unsubscribe. How can you figure out what your subscribers want? You can ask them directly when you're face-to-face, or you can use a survey on your website or on your Facebook page. Carefully thinking through your list signups, how you segment your lists, and what you market to specific subscribers can help you design content that meets their needs rather than being too general and therefore boring. While a sexy subject line can get your subscribers to open the email, if the content is boring, you're going to lose them quickly, and usually before you get what you need out of them. There are tons of resources out there to help you write fun and exciting newsletters, but you first have to ask yourself, what do my subscribers want? If you think back to how you got those subscribers, that will help you know what they need. For example, if you got a bunch of subscribers with new pets at a pet adoption fair, you want to give them what they need to adjust to that new pet. So topics like introducing a new puppy to small children or teaching new pets and older pets to get along will help them. But those topics may not be relevant for subscribers who have had a single pet for a very long time and are facing aging issues instead. Targeting your content to the subscriber will help your click and open rates improve. We all have very busy inboxes, and some people just never get through their email due to changing priorities. When you send too often, you run the risk of irritating your subscribers to the point that they can't stand seeing your emails and they unsubscribed just to get one thing off their to-do list. Send too infrequently, and you run the risk that they forget about you or they don't recognize you and they unsubscribe as a reflex. Getting the frequency right is tricky. Think about your customers, how often they visit you or your website, and how often they want to receive emails. It's important to think about their needs, and you'll get it right, or you'll get it close and you can improve it. In another video, we looked at how to better understand our subscribers and how they are interacting with the newsletters. This time we're going to take a look at individual campaigns. In the Campaigns tab of your MailChimp dashboard, you can see how each of your campaigns did. We're looking at an established account that I manage because we have more data to see here. No matter how good these numbers are looking, it's important to notice that click and open rates vary widely by industry and by a number of other factors, including the time of year and all of those reasons that your subscriber joined your list in the beginning. You'll see in this list our numbers vary widely, but don't worry if you have low numbers. You can always improve them. We saw how to look at the overall report data for a campaign in another video. We're going to take a look at what made this particular campaign so juicy. There were quite a few links clicked in this campaign. The top link happens to be a blog post, and it contained the kind of data that our readers were interested in. While the total clicks is just 24, there were 20 unique clicks, which means that 4 were repeat clicks from users who wanted to read that information again. Before you implement any changes to your newsletters based on what you think you know from the data, unless it's glaringly obvious, send a few newsletters. It can take some time for your subscribers to get used to receiving your messages, so don't be too harsh on yourself before you give it a little time and see what works and what doesn't. Also, take into account seasonal activity and the time of year. If your messages hit during the holidays, for example, don't be subscribed if your click and open rates fall a bit. MailChimp offers users some options when it comes to their accounts. If you send fewer than 12,000 emails every month and have fewer than 2,000 subscribers, you can stay on the free plan. Upgrading your plan, however, will give you access to premium features like automation, which is an automated email campaign that is sent to a subscriber when a specific trigger is activated. All kinds of events can trigger an autoresponder to send an email to a subscriber. An autoresponder can be triggered based on events or list data, depending on what you gather, and whether MailChimp is integrated with your website or point-of-sale system. Some of the best reasons to automate your messages is for standard onboarding of new clients, or reducing your team workload, or even delivering well-timed marketing messages. To upgrade, you'll click Automation and select the Upgrade button. Some of the upgrade options include MailChimp Pro for some really cool features and social profiles, which gathers publicly available social data about your subscribers. It's a way to sort of stalk them and find out more information. MailChimp will find out their age, gender, and influence and apply that information to your lists and to individual subscribers. We're not going to update our sample account. Instead, we're going to move over to a different account that I manage that's already upgraded and take a look at how the automated messages are set up over there. In our other account, we'll click Automation, and let's take a look at some of these automated examples. You can see that this account has a number of automated messages, and you can see the click and open rates, how many people have received each message, and more. These automated messages are used to nurture new clients and share information to help them use the website. Using our Wisdom Pets example, we might want to send our pet parents an automated email when their pets' vaccinations are due, if we keep that data updated with our list. Let's take a look at how to set up an automated email message. First, we're going to select which list this workflow applies to. We're not going to set up any new automated messages, but just take a look at what the options are available. You'll notice we have several options, including a welcome series, which you saw an example of in the previous screen. Depending on your level of coding knowledge or your developer skill, you can also send emails when a specific event is triggered, like a purchase is made. You've probably seen examples of this in your own email box. You buy some organic dog food, and a few days later you get an email about whether the dog liked it or not. This is an example of an email automation, and it can be highly effective for customer engagement. It also takes significant thought and frequent updates as things change. When you select an automation option, you'll notice you're right back at a familiar screen where you create your email. Even though the email will be automated, just about everything else is the same. You choose the setup options, and you set your trigger. The trigger is what makes this email fire off to subscribers. We chose the welcome series, so MailChimp automatically assumes that the trigger will be when a new subscriber signs up. You can also trigger the workflow when a subscriber list is imported, if you like. Let's take a look at the Emails tab. MailChimp has done plenty of research on what works and what doesn't, and they recommend a welcome series to include 5 emails. If you think that's too much, you can choose to send just one, or you can return to the automation screen and select a different automation option, perhaps one that sends just 3 automated emails. Notice that you can set the delay for the trigger, and you'll likely play with this quite a bit in the beginning. You might want to have the delay be 2 or 3 days, for example, to give your subscriber the opportunity to use the product before you ask them to review it. Here is where you will design the email that you will send automatically. Remember that once the automation workflow is set up and running, you can return to tweak it anytime. This should all look very familiar to you with the Template, Design, and Scheduling tabs. If you upgrade your MailChimp account, you'll have access to a number of paid features that we saw in the dashboard. Luckily, the MailChimp team has given everyone a really excellent email system without having to upgrade. But if you need those premium features, it can be worth the extra money. Nothing is worse than putting all your hard work into building a great email campaign and then have it land silently in your subscribers' spam folder. MailChimp built the Inbox Inspector for just this reason. You can't control the spam filters, so you're going to have to figure out how to work with them. Inbox Inspector runs your emails, not a real email, don't worry, your subscribers won't see this, through a test that identifies which filters it passed and which filters it failed, so that you can improve your campaigns and make sure that more emails actually arrive in your subscribers' inboxes. MailChimp uses Spam Assassin, an open source tool that email administrators love, to give each email a score based on the content it might consider spammy. Inbox Inspector is available for paid accounts, so we'll be using a paid account that I run to see how this works. In this video, we've already run the inbox inspection and we're going to review the results. You'll find the Inbox Inspector in the Reports tab. We recently ran this inspection, and now let's take a look at what the data tells us. First, MailChimp shows us how our email looks in all of the top email systems that our subscribers use. We ran this using a template, so you're going to see template data in these screens. You can click View in any of these and see how it will look when your subscribers see it. This is a great way to step back and play devil's advocate with your emails. To see them as a user can make a big difference. Next, let's click the Spam Filter Check button. Well, I almost wish that there was bad information to show you here, but it looks as if all of our emails are doing really, really well. According to MailChimp Help, let's take a look at what the Spam Assassin score is analyzing. The Spam Assassin system looks for long URLs that are visible in the content. That's not cool with spam filters, so if you use a shortener like bit.ly or googly to convert the URL you have to display, or simply link it instead of dropping it in the text. HTML in your email is usually a mistake. Either it got stuck in the plain text version or it was accidentally coded into a custom email. Spam filters want to see HTML paired with a plain text alternative, which is an easy setting in the campaign builder. A low text to image ratio kicks off a spam filter quicker than anything. Spam filters like to see a nice balance of text and images. If you have an email loaded with images, that's usually because you're trying to sell something. Graylisted. This notice indicates that a domain has been graylisted from a prominent spam filter surface. This happens pretty often, and it doesn't necessarily mean that your emails are being blocked out, but they could be. There's also very little you can do about this. If your emails are being blocked, look into the reasons and figure out how you can improve them. As long as your spam score says passed, your emails are likely getting through and your subscribers are seeing them. At that point, you can take a look at improving the read rates to make sure you're intriguing your readers with your content, and we covered that in another video. The topic of email marketing is really big, and experts continue to agree that email marketing has a strong place in the marketing toolbox, especially for small businesses, even in a world dominated by social media channels. I hope you'll take the opportunity to give your subscribers some fun and engaging email campaigns to read. I know you'll see positive results for your business or organization when you do.